to win your final game and be champions. Does that mean anything extra to you?
Yes, definitely. It's really the icing on the cake, and a bit too naive and a bit too romantic finish, if I'm honest. But also finish, I think it totally fits to our season to win the title at Villa Park against a side who was on fire before with many games unbeaten. Also really desperate to be there with a good result in front of a sold out stadium in their last home game to gain some momentum for the playoffs. And to be able to lift the trophy in this amazing ground full of history and tradition is of course a fantastic feeling, and to be honest, it feels also deserved after this season to finish with 94 points, with nearly 100 goals, with finishing the last 14 games unbeaten. It's a proud moment because these lads and the whole club, each and every member of the staff and each and every player worked so hard for this ending, and totally fits to our season.
And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but the support and the players, those memories live with you for a long time, I'm guessing.
Yes, you have to take this because when you work for big clubs, perhaps Man United under Alex Ferguson, or in Germany would be Bayern Munich or whatever. When you play for this clubs, then you're perhaps 6 or 7 times during your career able to lift the trophy, but normal players are perhaps just allowed to do this 2 or 3 times during the year, or during their career, or at least to play 2 or 3 times for a title. And these moments are coming not that often, and you have to keep this in mind. And it's a great moment, and I think each and every of my players, each and every member of my staff will keep this in mind, and will never forget this moment.
How much satisfying is it as well, given that you were tipped to struggle this season? You sold your best players last summer, you didn't start the best. It's really against the odds, isn't it?
It is satisfying, but not because of the feeling we proved someone wrong, but it's more like we know that we made history and created something extraordinary. And I said it before, we broke so many rules during the season. So everyone in the beginning of the season was speaking about you need experience in order to be successful in this toughest league in the world. You need money in order to be successful with these young players. You can't be consistent with beautiful football. You can't win anything in this league. And it's more like we broke so many rules, and we showed an unbelievable spirit, unbelievable mental strength. Also with these young lads to finish with 14 games unbeaten is outstanding. And this consistency is really remarkable. And this club has earned more money than any other club in the whole country, probably in whole Western Europe in the last 24 months, and all credit goes to our key people, to our owners, Deli and Mike, to our sporting director, Stuart Weber. They were there with some really brave decisions to lead this club into the right direction. All credit goes to them, and we know that it's perhaps not a sensation that Norwich plays in Premier League, because we've done this several times in the history, but to have this reached under these circumstances, in this situation, is really kind of a sensation. And it's a really proud moment to be allowed to work for this amazing club and to wear a yellow shirt.
Was it a gamble to sell so many players last year?
Not a gamble, because it was necessary. The club was under so much financial pressure, so I think even more than our board, our sporting director spoke before, so in order to protect a bit our values, but we needed to earn that much money in order to get the club running further on. Yeah. And of course, I wouldn't avoid money, and I wouldn't avoid quality. So of course it's easier when you have lots of money to spend in order to bring quality in. So I would prefer to be honest. I'm not jealous in this moment. I would prefer also to work under these conditions, because then it's a bit easier to have success. But we were totally convinced that we could, even with our working principles, with our work ethics, with our playing principles, we can reach perhaps something extraordinary. We didn't expect that it would work that quick, and we know that we are perhaps 3 or 4 years ahead of schedule in order to build something for this club. But we take it, and it's a great success, and we're all happy.
What are your thoughts now on playing in the Premier League next season? We've got a young team, will it hold any fears for them, or do you think they'll embrace the challenge?
We're not looking too far ahead, because when you have such a moment of joy and happiness, it's important that you celebrate this, and that you feel this also, and because otherwise you will ask yourself why you're doing all this hard and disciplined work. I think it's important in this moment not to be too scared. It's more like to feel the joy and the happiness and celebrate, and this is exactly what we'll do. And we know in a few weeks, in a few months we will go again, and we know that Sporting Stuart Webber painted a good picture. He said, listen, we climbed the Mount Everest and we've done it, and right now we go back and try again to climb it. And it will be exactly this approach, because we know in terms of spending money, in terms of salary and possible transfer fees, we will be probably in position 20 from all these 20 Premier League clubs in the next season, but we'll try to work and fight with our tools, and then hopefully with this spirit and also this philosophy of the club, it's never guaranteed that it works also on this level. But we have to do this. There's no other option in order to keep this club running. So it's not like we'll risk the long-term future of the club. And for that, we will go again in a few weeks, and then we'll see how far we can come.
The comment about climbing Everest, is Stuart said that today in the changing room or something like that, has he? Or did he say that after promotion?
No, I think after promotion last week he mentioned in an interview, and I like this picture because it's more or less really like a realistic view of what we've done.
You're making it sound as if your approach for the Premier League will be along the lines that Burnley and Huddersfield have done. Is that right?
I wouldn't compare too much with other clubs, because each and every club has its own direction. There are examples for each and every possibility. So you can spend lots of money after promotion, and you can be successful. So there are examples for this. But it's also the same. So you can spend lots of money and you relegate immediately, and there are also many examples. And the same also with the playing style. So we will stick to our philosophy. We will play in the same style, because you can try to defend and anyhow gain point for point and park the bus a bit. And there are good examples to be successful. But there are also examples when you just defend and concentrate on protecting your own goals and just to react, that you relegate. And we will go our way. We are convinced of our way, and it's for us no other option. So we have to stick to our principles, to our philosophy, because I think that's the most important thing, that you're convinced of your beliefs, and this is exactly how we will handle the situation also in a few weeks.
What has impressed you so much, most of all this season? What's the most impressive thing to have come out of this campaign?
Two things. One thing is the consistency of the young players, because when you play with such a young side, it's pretty often that you are there with some naive mistakes or whatever, but to be there with this consistency after each that we lost, to be honest, we didn't have so many losses during the season, but we were always able to respond with a win. Mm-hmm. And also this consistency with so many unbeaten runs is outstanding. And the second thing is also the spirit and the togetherness, because there were also some tough decisions, for example, for some experienced leaders in our group, and they had to support sometimes in the group, although they expected, of course, and wanted to be there in the starting lineup, but then to think more about the group and the success of this group instead of individuals shining. So this attitude was also outstanding, and these two things were, I think, the most impressive topics.
What would you say about the owners of the club and the faith they've shown in you? Because quite often coaches come to a club with a long-term project, and then the owners get impatient after a year or so if it's not working straight away. But they've stood by you, haven't they? And even after you finished 14th last year and had a slow start to this year, they've stuck with you, haven't they?
It works in both directions. It's also important that the head coach also patience, because it's also easy sometimes to cry for some quality and spending money. And before I signed, so I had a clear picture of in which direction this club wants to head, and I knew it would be tough, and I knew it would be an unbelievable challenge to lead this club and in this transition moment, because you have on the one hand the high expectation because of the history, because this club was unbelievably successful in the past. And on the other hand, a realistic view of the reality that actually says there's no chance to be successful on this level. And my feeling was, even the last season, we have to find the balance, a solid finish in mid-table, not at all in danger of relegation, and also closer to the players than with a big distance to the relegation ranks was not too bad. And my feeling was, we were even during this period always convinced that we are heading into the right direction, and there was not one moment when I doubted, also not one moment when Delia and Michael or my sporting director doubted. Of course it's always difficult, because you always have high expectations when you work for such an amazing club, because we were always honest to our supporters, and of course we were speaking about we have to sell our best players, we have to earn money. But when you work for such a big club and you have this experience, we played in Europe and we had some really, really good spells during the Premier League, it's more like you have the feeling, okay, we have no money like the other clubs, we have to sell our best players, yes, it's difficult, yes, but you have this idea, okay, at least we should win the league. And to combine and find this right balance is always difficult when you work for such a big club. But we were always convinced that we were working in the right direction, and I think it's important to stick to your beliefs, and this is exactly what we did.